Giving back. Hi, I'm Brian Petz.
I'm Ryan Faude.
And I'm Catherine Posillico. COVID-19 has significantly changed the world and prompted challenges for everyone. Our project focuses on the challenges COVID has created for the schooling system. To prevent the spread of COVID-19 among students and staff, academic institutions worldwide were required to remodel the fundamental aspects of the schooling system to keep everyone safe. There are numerous mitigation strategies suggested by the CDC for schools to utilize in an attempt to prevent and reduce the transmission of COVID-19. The East Meadow School District has closely followed these guidelines. Students were split into two different cohorts to give enough space in the classroom and the hallways for social distancing. Communal spaces are now at reduced capacity and are split between classrooms if a space becomes too crowded. All rooms have windows or doors open to allow for the ventilation of air inside. Masks are mandated throughout the school at all times, except when eating or drinking in the lunchroom. With successful standards in place, there is room to increase opportunities for students.
During their free period, the majority of students are either in a lunchroom or in an overflow classroom. W.T. Clark High School does not have any structures in place that allows for students to eat outside safely. Generally speaking, the chances of getting COVID-19 in an outdoor environment are less likely when compared to being inside. Giving students the opportunity to eat in an outdoor environment would allow for students to feel more comfortable while continuing to be safe. During a time of such pain and distraught, like we are in now, it is very important to have places that comfort us.
We wanted to raise funds to construct and donate a new outdoor area with COVID-19 in mind. The outdoor area will consist of three major aspects. There will be 3 benches constructed out of pressure-treated wood, later to be installed 2.5 feet deep into the ground for stability, with space between each of the benches so people can sit 6 feet apart from one another. There will be a 4 by 24 foot gravel path leading up to the benches with a 16 by 16 square of gravel surrounding the benches. The gravel path will connect the outdoor area to a concrete path surrounding the nearby sidewalk. The gravel area being 16 by 16 feet allows for social distancing between benches, effectively following CDC guidelines. There will be flower seeds planted along the gravel path to help beautify the area and add value to our project. We will be constructing this area on a large patch of grass near the school lunchroom. After completing this project, we are expecting that people will use this outdoor area during the school day to feel more comfortable, whether it be for eating during their lunch period or just a place to get some fresh air. We want there to be an area at W.T. Clark High School where people can sit outside safely. The outdoor area will beautify the back lawn and help reduce anxiety in students.
Before any construction started, we needed approval from the East Meadow School District's administration. We planned to build on W.T. Clark High School's property. Therefore, it is essential that we have proper permission from all authorities within the district. We started our correspondence with Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Kenneth Card. After conversing and remodeling the plans over several emails, Dr. Card gave us his approval for the project, handing us off to the Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance, Dr. Patrick Pizzo, and the Director of Facilities, Mr. Craig Camarata. We worked with Dr. Pizzo and Mr. Camarata more on specifying location and materials, and they helped us ensure that our project would go smoothly. They gave us their approval for the project, giving us the information to the supervisor of the grounds department, Mr. Kevin Green, who helped us on site on the day of the project. Pictured now is a small excerpt of his extensive email correspondence with Dr. Card.
To pay for the materials needed to construct this project, we asked for donations from local businesses. We went in person, handing local businesses a letter outlining the goals of our project. To cover the remaining expenses, we held a fundraiser at Chipotle's East Meadow location on October 28, 2020 from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We received 33% of the sales bought in by our supporters. Pictured now is an email confirmation regarding the approval of the fundraiser from Chipotle Corporate.
For the construction of our project, we recruited volunteers from a local Boy Scout troop, Troop 362. The Scouts have the construction skills and experience needed to produce sturdy, durable benches. They also have access to tools needed to construct the benches that would otherwise prove costly renting. We started a correspondence with the Senior Patrol Leader of Troop 362, Dominic Idavaya. Dominic had collected information from his Scouts that wanted to volunteer and help us organize them in preparation for our project.
Our volunteers were split into 2 different groups, with each group completing a different section of the outdoor area. Group A involved digging, cutting, and constructing the benches. Group B involves settling the gravel area, the benches, and planting the seeds. Group A worked on the first day, while Group B worked on the second day. The separation of groups was coordinated in an effort to comply with CDC guidelines of keeping groups small. The groups were created with the help of Dominic to ensure that everyone had the skills to complete their assigned tasks and avoid scheduling conflicts. The only people who went on both day 1 and day 2 were our team, patrol leader Dominic Gadavaya, volunteer parents who have experience with power tools, and the supervisor, Mr. Kevin Green. The people going on both days of the project are essential for monitoring the quality and safety of the project.
It is crucial to use strong metrics when conducting research in order to get a realistic assessment of the project's impact. A strong metric we used to evaluate the quality of our project was a tally of how many people used our outdoor area each day. We asked the aide that sits by and watches the door nearby the project area to keep a tally of how many people were leaving to go to the benches. Records were kept on a clipboard with a sheet that was collected weekly for a data collection period of 6 weeks. The picture now is one of those sheets. And in addition to collecting data, the aide ensured that there's a maximum of 3 people going to the benches each period, enforcing social distancing rules. This gave us a realistic assessment of the project's impact.
It is essential to plan for possible uncertainties that can harm the quality of a project. One potential issue we prepared for is the chance of inclement weather. Construction took place entirely outside, and inclement weather would require us to reschedule. In the event of inclement weather, the rain date is set for a week after the original project date. In the event that the construction is pushed back, the 6-week data collection period would be pushed back as well. Another potential issue that can arise is benches being faulty or the flowers not planted correctly. We reevaluated the project 6 weeks after the project's completion to ensure the quality of the project is what we desired. In the event that there is a major structural issue, we will contact the troop once again for their help in addressing the issue.
For our project budget, we canvassed local businesses in the Westbury area for some materials needed. We went to the stores Lowe's and Gabriella's Garden Florist. We also contracted local contractors, Capella's Construction Company. We explained our project to them, showing them the flyer and asking for the donation of any materials listed. The donated materials and the tools donated from Troop 362 can be seen in their respective graphs. After analyzing the items we received through various donations, we determined the remaining materials needed for the project, which brought our proposed project budget to roughly $168. Our Chipotle fundraiser was successful. We received around $183 from Chipotle, meaning that the remaining $15 was donated to the East Meadow School District.
We had numerous milestones, each with specific deadlines to each milestone. On October 2nd, we received approval from the district for our project. On October 17th, we canvassed local businesses for donations. On October 28th was our Chipotle fundraiser. Around November 1st was when we repurchased the remaining materials for our project. November 7th and November 8th were our construction dates. November 9th was the first day that our area could be used, and this date also marked the start of our data collection period. December 17th was 6 weeks after the construction date, where we checked out the project to see if there was any errors. And December 18th marked the end of our data collection period.
Both day 1 and 2 of construction were successful. Almost all expected volunteers were present, all were wearing masks, and presented their completed COVID-19 self-survey. On day 1, the gravel path was marked and the top layer of the grass was dug out. The wood was cut and the benches were constructed. Post holes were dug and the tarp was fitted. On day 2, the pea gravel was poured onto the tarp. Benches were set into place, and lastly, zinnia seeds were planted along the sides of the gravel area.
Pictured here is a completed version of our outdoor area. When checking the quality of our project after 6 weeks, the only problem we observed was that the seeds did not grow. After doing some research, we found that zinnias require high temperatures of around 60 degrees to grow and would not grow in the current cold climate. We decided that when the weather starts to warm up around April, that we would replant the remaining zinnia seeds.
Pictured here is all of the data collection from the 6-week data collection period compiled onto a graph. These light green bars represent our daily usage of the benches, skipping the weekends. Along with the daily usage of the benches, we also compiled the data from the average daily temperature highs in Westbury, New York. You can see that the average daily temperature highs are correlated to the daily bench usage. When the temperatures are higher, the average daily use of the benches increases. When the weather gets colder, the average daily bench usage decreases. Another aspect of the graph is that the daily bench usage and the average daily temperature highs have the same linear regression trend line. Having same linear regression models show that these two variables are correlated in some manner and will most likely continue to move in the same direction. Given that the temperature linear regression model is going down, we expect our daily bench usage to go down as well. On the contrary, this data helps us conclude that when the temperatures start to rise again, so will our daily bench usage, given the linear regression model.
One major lesson we learned during our project is that we need to pay closer attention to external factors. During the course of our project, the cold climate caused the plants in our garden to not grow and people to stop using the benches. Climate was considered when developing our plan, but it tested our flexibility and adaptability skills. In the real world, it is imperative to analyze external factors that can affect your goals. No matter how strong our plans were, external factors were out of our control. That is why it is necessary to analyze and incorporate these factors into our plan.
Hopefully, in the near future, COVID-19 will become less prominent and less of an issue, but that does not make our project insignificant. The benches will still provide a communal space after social distancing ends. Future projects can entail beautifying the recently built seating area or building games to play during free periods such as horseshoe pits. It will always be important to have places that comfort us, especially now during a time of such chaos. We thank you for your time and we hope you and your families are staying safe.